Hello, everyone. We are back for Survivor episode 6, and I am recapping with a wonderful guest today. I'm so excited. My first person I'm talking to that I have not actually played Survivor with, so this is very exciting. I wouldn't want it to be anyone else. Kellyn Bechtold, how are you, babe? Good to see you, my queen.
Kelley Wentworth, good morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
I woke you up early to start Survivor, didn't I? From here on the East Coast.
You are East Coast, I'm West Coast. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not had a single bite of food. I have a coffee right now. So this could go sideways very quickly because the only thing I have coursing through my body right now is caffeine. But we're going to get through it and we're going to have fun.
I wish I could say I was ahead of you on the... I have had a hot chocolate from my apartment building and about 4 bites of pumpkin spice trail mix from Aldi. So I'm not that far ahead of you on.
We're on the
nutrition.
same level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same level.
Okay. You know what I think it is? We were trying to channel Survivor. We wanted to feel like we wanted to come on this podcast together and really take a little, trip down memory lane, not eat. Well, we didn't really have coffee on Survivor, but
we did get some coffee. I mean, we used those grounds over and over. By the time I got to the merge, because it was like, but when the tribes were split up, like by the time I got there, it was just like used grounds. So like the coffee we had, I use in air quotes, was like tobacco spit water. I mean, not, just like so clear, but it still tasted so good. So yeah, we're in better shape than we were then. But I'll tell you, when they get to that merge beach, it's like I freaking miss being on that island, and I would take it. I would give up all the breakfasts to just go hang out there with you and other Survivor people. Not even playing the game, maybe, just hanging out there. The starvation it'd be worth it.
It'd be fine. That's so funny you said that because I, like you, last night I was watching and I almost got emotional when the boats came in and they read the notes and they said you're merging. I think once you get out of Survivor, at least for me, when I immediately was home and out of Survivor, I said I would never do that again. Not after my first time, but after my second time and on my third time, I said I'm never doing that again. That was horrible. What was I thinking? A few years go by. I still don't want to do it. But now being removed so many years, and you haven't been on in quite a few years as well, you do kind of miss it.
Yeah, I miss. It's so weird. It's just, everyone is on their own roller coaster, right? Mine was the moment I left. I was like, I don't want to leave Fiji. I just want to stay here for forever because I was lucky to have like what I would say is the exact Survivor experience I wanted other than winning.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to leave. And then being on TV, then I was like, I'm never doing that again, ever. And that has stayed that way for a really long time. And It's just been since this, well, maybe not just this season, but it's in the last year maybe where it's like, oh, okay. Oh, it's so beautiful there in the sunset. It's more so, I don't know if I want to play Survivor again, but could I just go somewhere with a group of people where we don't have phones? Maybe we'd even get a toothbrush and toilet paper, but just like no phones, sleeping outside, going to sleep when the sun goes down, waking up with the sunrise, like that part of it I do miss deeply. And it's hard to appreciate that when you're in the middle of playing a game, a psychotic game for $1 million.
It's so true. Just the simplicity of it. I feel like our lives are so complicated and I'm always on my phone and always moving and doing something. And it just feels like life is so fast paced. So there is this really beautiful thing about, like you're talking about, just being somewhere and not having any distractions and being with people you really care about. And the sunsets in Fiji are ridiculous. Unlike anything I've ever seen. Yeah. Those were some of the most peaceful moments within the craziness of the game. So it's a beautiful thing. Survivor is really great. We're both very blessed.
Yeah, we are. We're so in this season in particular, it feels like, I don't know how you're feeling about the season. I'm so excited to hear your take, but it's just like, it's so much fun watching this season. This season has been so fun to watch. Like, it's just like, I know people say campy. It's just like getting even more campy. And I don't actually think they are doing it on purpose, the producers and Jeff. And to me, that's what makes it even more what's the cursing rules on this?
Oh, you can say whatever you want.
Okay. It's like more like hilarious, just like fucking hilarious to like watch. Because what's your take on it? Do you think with all this like extra camp, is it a producer playing the game, or they really? Maybe the producers are, but Jeff, does he know? Does he know the camp level?
I want to start out by saying that I have been very vocal about my dislike for certain elements of the new era. I'm sure that I'm sure Jeff loves that I do that, but it's fine. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm just a fan at the end of the day. But the last 2 seasons, and last season was off to a rough start, but this season in particular, I am obsessed with. I know it is, some people are saying like, oh, it's a little too like circusy, it's too silly. I love that. I watch television for entertainment. I want to laugh. I want to maybe cry. I want to just look at people and go, oh my gosh, they are a hot mess. That's what gets me up and going. Although I love the strategy portion of the game. I love them doing the challenges and the physical aspect. What I really want to see is just funny camp life. And I think that them injecting, let's take Sue's idol, for example. Whoever came up with the plan to do red paint in a pot and have it splatter all over the ground, brilliant. Okay, absolutely diabolical. I'm here for it. I love it. And I believe Sue was the perfect person to find that. Okay. I want to go back to your original question because I'm kind of going off here.
I think it all leads to the same
place. It all leads together. So I think them putting in pieces like that adds to it because now that's dragging into additional episodes, which is what I wanted. Yeah. And so when that first happened, I was like, yes, now we're seeing it again. Yes, this is amazing. This is so funny. I was on my couch. I had to rewind it and watch it twice because I was just laughing. And so I think that production does know what they're doing. I don't know. Jeff's not quite as involved. He knows what's going on, but I just think we're getting this combination of really great people, really funny people, really great moments that they're giving us. We have big characters which are helping, like Rome. I mean, that's helping, right? So I think
Sue is a big character in and of herself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't think they maybe. I think they're kind of trying things, and I like that.
Yeah, I like that. It's like what they thought would happen with the like broccoli tree, rabbit, whatever. Like this is what they were trying to create, but this is trusting casting that if they give them literally the paint, right? If they give the cast the tools to react to, like they are all so good. And honestly, I believe this of all seasons have at least a few people, but in new era casting, I feel like there's a bunch of people who will pick up that like literal paintbrush, and instead of having some silly made up tell the broccoli tree thing, whatever that was, which isn't funny, you make someone covered in red paint and they're gonna say, oh, I was just playing with the machete.
Because that's normal. Because that makes sense.
And because when you're out there, you at home, this was the fun part of being behind the fourth wall or being the fourth wall, whatever, is like you're sitting at home and you're like, what the hell? Sue just said she was playing with the machete. And like that sort of turned the ear like a dog, like, huh? But it didn't completely because you're living in a made up world when you're on the Survivor Beach. And so the blur between reality and the game is so much so blurred. It's like as if you've had a little like film over your eyes, or you've just had one too many shots of tequila, where in that moment I can see why the recipients of that message, I was just playing with the machete, they didn't. To us it's like, what the hell, she clearly made that up, and that is so ridiculous. I can see you being out there and not fully understanding that was a lie. And so for us in the audience to be able to see how ridiculous and funny it is it's perfect. So I loved that moment as well. And all of these things we're getting with Gabe and the box
Oh my gosh, the box rolling down. Oh my gosh. And then, yeah, when Rome was we're going back episodes. So when Rome was digging in the dirt and then he's like in the water well. I mean, these are all the things that we're going to remember from this season that make it so funny. And even though I've always been a person that said, don't be too cutesy with the idols. Don't give us too many advantages. Don't try and overcomplicate it. This was the perfect mix. Right? It was still very funny. It made sense and it's just fun to watch versus, like you said earlier, I don't really care about somebody at a challenge saying the goat ate the broccoli while dancing on the rainbow. It's not right there. I think maybe it's also the physical piece of it. Like we're seeing Rome get into the well. We're seeing Gabe climb the mountain and then the box comes rolling down. We're seeing Sue with the big pot and the paint. So there's this kind of visual piece of it that we haven't had in the past with other idols. So I think that's where they've really hit a home run. And I am absolutely loving that particular part of the season. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's the first time, literally first time that I've, dare I say, liked the advantages at all. I mean, like I
write it here. She said what she said.
I have always been like I watch Survivor for the relationships, for the personalities, the dynamics. Get rid of idols, get rid of everything. I don't want any journeys. I want camp life. I want people deciding who the hell is going home. And that is what I want. And so it is this time, and to put them in those pickles of deciding.
You can't not laugh when you think about it.
Right? And I think that is why it's so effective.
I love it. I love it. It's a different
way of, I think sitting on the couch, I always, as a fan, was like, what would I do in that strategic standpoint? What would I do? Would I vote with them? Would I vote with them? Whatever. Not just how would I do that puzzle? Who would I vote with? But how would I get rid of that red paint? And you can't see yourself. There's no mirror. What would I do with that box that I needed to hide that ginormous box? What would I do? So it's really allowing us as the audience to sit and play the game and to play the advantages so tactfully. So yeah, I'm really and I'm quite enjoying it. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I think that seems to be the consensus for most people, is that they're really loving this season. And that makes me happy because I do think Survivor lost itself a little bit there. And I felt like all of the 40s were very similar, and that was due to them being in Fiji, right? We're not getting a lot of that different wildlife and the shots and the, let's say like in Cambodia, right? We had all the temples and then like all these different places. You're just getting the different feel, and you can really tell which season is which. And the 40s, especially in the middle, I think got a little lost, and I'm glad that we're kind of coming back. We'll get to the merge, but we had a little bit more of a normal merge. So I think that, I don't know if CBS is listening or if they're just like, yeah, we want to try some different stuff, but I'm loving it. And before we move on from the idols, because we've already talked about it, we do need to at least touch on Sue specifically in this episode, because there was a little bit of confusion for me, and I started to wonder if it was just weird editing. When they read the note saying, you're merging, people are coming to your beach. And she says that, oh, people are coming here. They're going to look through my bag. And I thought, okay, hold on. The logic here isn't making sense, because even if you went to another beach, they wouldn't look through your bag there. So I was a little confused on that. And I thought maybe this is, again, a little bit of weird editing. I can't quite figure out what's happening. But then she goes to the well again and starts cleaning the idol. And I just wasn't following what she was doing. It didn't make sense. And that's why I'm saying maybe it's an editing thing, because I wonder if they were trying to, since everyone is going to find the remnants of the pot, that maybe they were trying to edit it in a way so we could be like, oh, they found it because she was cleaning it again right before they came. But it didn't quite make sense. So if that is how it happened, I don't understand why Sue would go to the water well before everyone's coming to the camp and put more red paint everywhere and clean. What did you think about this whole thing? Because it was very confusing as a viewer.
What I can't figure out with this whole cleaning everything is why that well, if it is where I think it is, and I think it is, there's a thing called the ocean. I don't know.
There's this very big blue thing right in front of you that you wake up to every day.
A bathtub of sorts that you could maybe run to and put your entire body or not even your entire body, just clean the idol in the ocean water. So I cannot for the life of me sort out why I'm going to fill up my water canteen and stand by the well and pour a trickle of water.
You're so right. Because here's the thing too. You know, okay, here's what she can do. She could tell people, I'm going to Coconut Grove. If anyone doesn't know that's listening, Coconut Grove is code word for I'm going to the bathroom. They don't want us to say we are going to the bathroom on television in case it's on camera. We say Coconut Grove, typically. I think that's still the word. That's what it was when I was playing. So you would say, I'm going to Coconut Grove. You just put the little thing in your clothes. You go and you clean it off, like you're saying, in the ocean. No one will know any different. Now, maybe production told her, we don't want you to do that because we want to get it on camera. And technically, if you're going to the bathroom, cameras are not supposed to be there. But to your point, Kellyn, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's just.
And how is there still so
red?
That old editing of her opening it originally, how is there still
That's what I'm asking.
Wet paint?
That's what I'm asking.
Out of that tube.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Is that just like the longest lasting paint in the history? I mean, has that not been in her bag?
But it still looked wet while other kids were digging it up. So
I see what you're saying. Okay, you're not talking about Sue and the tube specifically. You're talking about when they picked where.
I was talking about that. The tube specifically still had so much wet paint in it, which I'm like, how the hell is that the case? But even when they are digging it up, so this must be like everlasting paint somehow.
Yeah, it was a little confusing, but when they started finding the pieces, and they were going, this is so weird. Why would there be a terracotta pot with paint in it? Well, babes, I know it's been 10 days without food, but I'm going to give you a little clue here. And then Gabe just lifts this huge rope mess with just this broken pot. And they're all just looking at it going, where did it come from? Now, you said it earlier, Kellyn, sometimes in Survivor, you're not quite thinking properly. So it's very possible they thought, oh, this was from another season. This was something that washed up on shore, dare I say? I mean, it's very confusing, but it was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. I don't know. I need to know more after the season. Like, I hope that they touch on this in exit interviews or when people do their big interviews after the season. Cause oh my gosh, specifically Sue, like girl, I need that Sue deep dive immediately because I need to know. And I love Sue. She sent me some DMs on Instagram. She is fabulous, hilarious. The lying about the age. I'm like, girl, you're just here for the mess. Okay. And I love her.
I do. I love her so much. She is so cool, so fun to watch. Like there is the way that she is playing her eyes, the way she is looking at people. Like I think she is murdering Kyle, right? With her eyes. Like I think parts of his cells are dying when she is daggering her eyes, her beautiful eyes. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And but to watch those blue eyes just like you can hear it.
You know what's behind them. And those eyes too, when she thought she was caught red-handed, literally, she was, oh boy. I was like, Sue, you gotta pull it together, babe. Like they won't know. Just pull it together because your face is giving it away. So just hold steady. You're good.
I was playing with the machete.
Oh my Lord. I can't.
I don't know how you structure this whole thing, so don't let me derail you.
Oh, girl, we just go wherever. We'll talk about whatever we feel like.
Okay, I just was because I always write down in the original tribes, who's left and all that when I come on here, so I get it sorted. Although it's easier this season, I think with the 90 minutes, it's easier to keep everyone, and I know everyone really well. It feels like, which I love. And the 4 left on 5. Wait. Okay, I just said it was easier.
On the blue tribe?
With the blue tribe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have Tiana.
Yes.
Kyle. Sue. Caroline,
Yep.
and Gabe.
Yes, you got it.
Okay. So I think where my brain shorted out is I just was listening to Franny and Rob this morning from last night's RGP, and they were like, all the tribes are even going in, but they aren't.
It's 4-4-5.
It's 4-4-5. Yeah. They're not completely even. It's 4-4-5. Sorry. That's where I just had a brain fart. Okay. So, but that group of 5, it's amazing to me that they went to tribal the least because they seem the most disconnected from, if you think about those 5 people out in the real world, least likely to get along, least likely to be friends compared to even the red tribe. I feel like there's different cross ways of people getting along, even though it is a mess. I just cannot see those 5 blue folks connecting. And so thinking of like watching that dysfunctional family, we haven't had a ton of time over there, but I just love to think about Tiana, Kyle, Carolyn, Sue, and Gabe like shooting the shit at camp.
What do you think they talk about?
I have no fucking clue.
We're confused. We don't know.
And Caroline, sorry. Like, I feel like I love her edit, by the way. I feel like she is always saying exactly what's going on. She's like, oh, look at this. She was the one who called out the Bro Alliance. And she is just like, what I like to think of as like a little woman witch who's like actually the one who is in charge and knows everything there, which I'm not sure that that's panning out to be true. But what do you think of the Blue Tribe and how they get on with each other?
The Blue Tribe is very interesting to me because they got rid of their arguably strongest person in their first vote. And I thought, this is maybe not going to be good because Survivor, it's one of those things where usually the strong guys end up staying a while because there's just this constant thing every season. The women go first because they're not as strong. So when they got rid of him, I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty ballsy to do that. And I was a little concerned, but they made it through. And in Caroline specifically, didn't really know what to expect from her in the beginning because I thought, oh, she's just kind of quiet and was on the bottom and didn't really seem to be involved. I think she's really emerged the last 2 episodes specifically. I have really enjoyed her. I think she's a great alliance member. I really like her. And her and Sue are such a funny little couple. And then, I think that's what it is you have funny couples. That's what it is. So you've got Sue and Gabe, which I love that. I love that Gabe was like, I want to work with an older person, an older woman. I love that. He's kind of a little, he wants to be the next Tony. He wants to be the next Boston Rob. He wants to be on the mountain of the Mount Rushmore, which that's really hard to do. I'm sorry, but you've got some stiff competition, Gabe. So that's a fun little dynamic there. And then you've got Kyle, who...
Where is Kyle?
What's
he do?
He really talks about his family. My husband loves Kyle. He's like, I love Kyle. He loves Kyle and he loves Saul. I'm like, okay, those makes sense. But yeah, they're great. There's so much dysfunction there as well, just with them they're like kind of talking shit about each other. It's just like the dysfunctional family. Like you talk shit behind their back and then you come to Sunday dinner and like everything's cool. But that behind the scenes, people are talking shit about what you did all week. It's just funny. Yeah. It's just, just funny.
Just can't imagine. It's so weird because in some ways it's like, I thought maybe that would be the most likely. I thought one of them were going to go, to be honest, this week.
Tonight?
Because,
okay.
Because coming in, it's like and even I kept thinking it because they were like ping pong or like setting up Rome to go home. And I thought actually the weakest cracks were going to be in the Blue Tribe. And so I thought for sure one of them were going to take the heat this week. So I'm surprised that they kind of stayed together in it seemed like they were. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with those 5.
It will be interesting. I think we kind of have to get into Rome now because you brought it up. He had a crazy journey on the show. A wild episode. it started out, I mean, the whole episode started out with him basically narrating previously on, which I don't think has ever happened before. It ended with him sitting on Jeff's seat. Things we, again, have never seen before in the show. And then the entire episode, oh boy, it was the confidence. The confidence never changed. And that's also, though, the reason why I love Rome. I know a lot of people, he's been getting a lot of heat online, understandably so. And I know that you've been one of the biggest people online that has said, keep it to game. You can criticize people's games, that's fine, but there's no need to go outside of that and talk about people's personal lives or their looks or anything. And I think Rome is the type of person that can just roll with it and it will just kind of slide off his back and he'll be fine. But it doesn't make it any easier. And I know just based on comments I've received on my social media of things I've posted, the people have been so excited for him to go and think he's super arrogant. And I can see that. But at the end of the day, we are never going to forget Rome. So from a TV point of view, he was amazing. And I think there were parts of him we didn't see because producers wanted us to kind of have that chaotic character. And he did in this episode, right? He's like, I'm pretending to cry at the expense of Saul, which I didn't like
pretending? Do you think
he said
pretending? I saw him say that it was crocodile tears, and I saw the tears, and I'm like, I mean, I think he was partially pretending and partially not. Pretending.
So you think he was protecting his ego by telling us he was pretending?
Halfway. You know, it's one of those things, and I as a survivor did this.
Okay, tell me.
Crying. I cried, emotionally distraught after I was stuck by myself on Ghost Island, and it was horrible.
Fair.
When I came back with
that's a fair time to cry.
Okay, yeah. But it was like, yes, it was true. I don't think it was in that. I can't remember. It's my second time coming back. It did rain overnight, and we didn't have much rain, and so it was easy for me to get into and cry. And I felt like it was to my advantage in that moment to be like, it was so horrible. I didn't want to be alone. It rained. It's so cold. And I was really crying, and that felt true. Mm-hmm. And also, I had gotten an advantage. And what better way to distract from the idea that things went well by emotionally crying. And I felt myself a little bit showing up there in Rome, which is like, he actually is a sensitive person, actually was upset, and hearing Saul yell in his ear did hurt his feelings. And also, these are crocodile tears, and I'm using it to my advantage. So I think it can both be true for Rome in that moment. It was sad, and he decided with that sadness to use it in a game way, which maybe could have in a different universe played out to his advantage.
Which is fine, though. It's Survivor. There are no rules, really, in Survivor. I mean, you can lie, cheat, and steal to get to the end.
I want to say how much I loved watching Rome on my television.
Okay, good. So you enjoyed it.
Isn't this why we watch Survivor? And by the way, we don't get this very much anymore, where people, because we're all so aware of being on TV and what are people going to say and all this stuff. And so people still do, you forget you're on TV, but there's a portion of editing your cockiness because you don't want to have happen what just happened to Rome. And boy, did they really they stuck the knife in, and then they twisted it, and then they twisted it somewhere, and then they poured some salt on it, and Jeff poured some salt on it. And then for Rome, in that moment when he gets voted out, to go to his last confessional and say, you know what, I went for it, I probably ruffled some feathers, and are you not entertained? The fact that he has that ability to let go, have fun, go for the fucking gold, just be his most outrageous version of himself for all of us to enjoy. And he was, I don't know what percent, but in on the joke.
Yeah, there's a part of him that knew, perhaps. Maybe he's this crazy mastermind that we aren't even giving him credit for.
You know what? You said Gabe wanted to play like Tony. You know whose game reminded me of Tony's game? Rome.
That's fair.
Honestly, like if I think back to watching Tony on running around doing the hiding hut, that's not what it's called.
What's the hiding cut? The spy shack?
Yeah, spy shack.
Same difference. Were you trying to say hide and seek and spy shack at the same time?
Like a hiding hut. I don't know. It was just like he's hiding in his hut, but spy shack, yeah. Like the knockoff.
Same difference, Kellyn.
It's knockoff cereal brand of the spy shack. I think Rome is the hiding hut version of Tony. And honestly, when you squint, it could be the spy shack version. Like there is a world in which, and I heard Franny say this too, but it's like there's a world in which when he started to tell those lies and they're starting to jump from the conversation and he's just turning the dial a little bit on the Tiana and Kyle thing. He's turning the dial a little bit. It was like, which direction is this going to go? So there was a little bit. Now, maybe that's me giving too much of the benefit of the doubt, and everyone else along for the ride knew that it was going to crash and burn. But I thought maybe, honestly, clear up until the amulet people got up to play those amulets. I turned to my husband, Adrian, and I said, "Do you think they're going to play that for Rome?" Like,
that would have been so great.
I don't know if it was my hope because I love watching Rome so much. I love his outfit. Like he just looked I loved his outfit.
The fire shirt? You loved the flame shirt with the big bucket hat?
Yes, I did.
It's kind of funny that I'm just thinking about wardrobe. And he obviously submitted multiple things to wardrobe. The fact that that's what they chose for him, and then he ends up being this very chaotic, villainous type player, it could not be any better.
It could not be any better. The entire Rome situation is like Rome. It was not built in a day. It was his whole life, and we got to see it. We got to see the extremes of it, and thank you. And I adored watching him on TV, and I cannot wait to meet him in person someday. I hope I get to.
I did too. And I want to say 2 additional things before we wrap up our Rome conversation. Everyone was really upset when the article came out with Jeff Probst saying, "No more villains." Now, it was a little bit confusing because he basically, I think what he was trying to say after reading more and listening to more is that he just doesn't want people like yelling at each other on the beach, screaming. He's fine for kind of villainous type behavior in terms of like maybe gameplay or being sneaky. But everyone was like, "No more villains. What? This show we cannot do no villains. We need villains." And then we get this epic villain because Rome is a villain. Yeah. And like you said, he laid it all out there for us. He didn't hold back. He wasn't a half-ass villain. He was a villain. And everyone's like, "Fuck that guy." And he's so blah. And it's like, what do you want? What do you want?
They don't know, Kelley.
Because I want villains. And so Rome, thank you. You did deliver. And I think that we are robbed of not having Rome a part of the jury. I will say that. I'm very, very upset about that because I would have loved to have seen Rome on that jury watching. I would love to see him at Final Tribal Council asking questions. I just think, one more vote would have been really nice. But what happened, happened.
What happened. And it is so good. I mean, it just feels so rich this season. It feels like, honestly, this feels like podcasting by like when there's like 8 people left. Like how much I feel like I know the people, the fun stories there are and all this stuff. And a lot of that is attributed to Sweet Rome. And then Saul being the protagonist, or I'm not exactly sure, but like the flip side of the coin being this Saul Rome battle is so amazing to me. I also, like your husband, love Saul.
I love him too. I think he's an incredible player. I think he is
incredible,
amazing.
Like he is just like this statue of him trying to maintain his peace. What did he say? "I have meditated more than anyone else."
And it's only been 12 days.
yet I believe it.
I do too. Bless him. Listen, he is a very, gosh, what a level head and just an awareness to not blow up and to just remain calm and to continue to just talk to people and just continue to give his side and take his time and wait for his moment. I mean, gosh.
Yeah.
He could win. I really love him. I think he's incredible.
Yeah, I would put a lot of stock in Saul as well. And as a person who wants to play Survivor, I would go back and watch the way that he talks to people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because it is so hard when you are on the receiving end of the chaos to not get drawn into the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that he has maintained his composure in conversations and debriefing on the chaos that is towards him, the deflection is so masterful and human and real and believable and really good Survivor.
I agree. He's incredible. And he doesn't panic. He's so composed. He hears Rome saying something about him and someone else tells him that information. And he just kind of smiles and says, well, that's, I expect that. Or Rome's following him around the camp and he's just, okay, that's fine. He's very composed. Mm-hmm. Just really, really good socially, I think. Really good player.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about WorkMoney. WorkMoney is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by WorkMoney, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's WorkMoney. More money.
I think it's a good time to talk about Teeny, and we can talk about the merge feast specifically, and then we can go back and talk about the challenge, like the actual merge and how Jeff was trying to convince us it wasn't a merge. But anyway, Teeny, let's talk about Teeny. Oh girl, when Teeny was getting drunk, I was like, listen, I've been there. Okay, I hope that you're okay tomorrow because you have not been eating. Another hilarious scene. It's just these little moments where it's just because you're like, oh my gosh, if I were on Survivor, would I drink the wine? It's just, again, goes back to that, you said it earlier, put yourself in their shoes and what would you have done? And oh my gosh, I love Teeny so much. And this was just so funny. It's like, I'm getting drunk. And then they had the wine and just like the big eyes of like, oh boy, it's me on a Saturday night going to a comedy show. Like let's go. Pre-game. Did you love that? Do you love Teeny?
That I loved so much. And the wine teeth. The wine teeth. And
then Teeny came back into camp and just had that, when you kind of had that glazed look and you're just looking at people and you're like, so what's going on here? Oh my gosh, I was dying.
Teeny said, I'm going to need like a buddy. Like, if that ain't me, every single night between the years of 2005 and 2008 at Indiana University, I'm like gonna need a buddy.
Hold my hand and take me home, tuck me into bed, I'll be fine tomorrow. Oh my gosh.
So yes, I love that moment. And I love every single moment with Teeny on my television.
Same.
One, because I'm pretty sure I might be, I don't know. I'm going to go for this.
Oh.
In love with Teeny. I think I'm like partially a bit in love with Teeny.
I have a crush on Teeny.
Okay. You and I both then.
I have a girl crush on Teeny. What is it? So mesmerizing.
First of all, the eyes. The smile.
Oh, yes.
Scarecrow outfit.
Did Teeny sew those by hand? Oh boy.
No, the thing is we know that Teeny did not in fact sew those patches on by hand.
No.
But we know that they went out and bought those pants anyway. And by God, do I love those. And Teeny is the friend that I wish I had in college, because I love all my college friends, but there is something about Teeny that is just like, I'm watching the world, I'm watching the way I'm interacting with it, and I am curious. And like Teeny's curiosity towards all of the people out on that beach, Teeny's curiosity with, what am I gonna do here in this situation? But then just ping-ponging back and forth between that and like, yeah, I'm drinking the whole bottle of wine and who's gonna walk me home?
So relatable. That's what it is. It's just so relatable. You're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so great. I cannot wait to see how Teeny's game plays out, because it's just, I actually, honestly, in like what episodes 1, 2, 3, their edit was one of the best. For sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Teeny, but it wasn't so much in your face like a Rome. It was very thoughtful, and I just love Teeny's approach, and I think that now that they've reached the merge, it's going to be really good for them. I always thought, wow, potential winner pick, but still giving fun moments. I think that's the thing this season. There's not a lot of game bots. Maybe that's what it is. Everyone is just seems very authentic in themselves, and we're really seeing like people that you would maybe go grab a drink with or you'd be friends with in real life. I think that's a lot of what it is. There is strategy, there is game talk, but it's more about the people, and I love that.
You know, we're like Survivor purists in that sense of the idea of who are these people? What are they thinking? Who do they really want to vote with? Like, how does Genevieve feel about Andy? How does Andy feel about Teeny? How does Tiana feel about working with Rachel? Like, all of to think about what is it really like? Who will they sleep beside now that they're coming together? Who is gonna, oh, I need to fill up my water canteen. Who is getting up and walking to the water canteen when Kyle says, I'm gonna go fill up my water? I don't know. And I love the idea of thinking through what in the hell is gonna happen with all of these people, because they seem real and they seem willing to be open and vulnerable, and it doesn't get any better than that when it comes to Survivor.
So true. Even Sam, I mean, he tried his first piece of pineapple on television for the world to see. I mean, it doesn't get more vulnerable than that, you know? You bless him. He's like, guys, okay, hold on. Teeny, put your wine down, babe, because I am trying pineapple for the first time ever. It's like, and then he goes, confirmed, I'm a pineapple guy. I'm like, listen, this is Survivor, breakthroughs, learning new things about yourself. You love a new fruit. I mean, that's
commentary. It's pineapple trying.
And he literally held it up. He's like, guys, this is a moment, okay? And he has this tiny little piece of pineapple. He's like, I'm putting it in my mouth. I'm about to taste it. It's like, oh my Lord. It was great though. Those are the little moments. It's so insignificant really, but it's just funny. It's
I know,
just
but
funny
didn't
to
you feel
people.
in that moment like, is he gonna like it? I need to know. Like,
I need to know.
I felt in that split moment, like, how's this gonna go? As somebody is that picky of an eater, I'm like, do you think that Sam is a picky eater or an underexposed eater? And I can't tell.
Okay, so I posted a video on this And I was like, Sam, this man has never tried all these things. He's not a produce guy. And he popped into my comments. You know, I think my videos make their rounds. I hope no one hates me. It's all in good fun, everyone. Truly, it's all in good fun. I've had my moments. I told the entire world that the Cleveland Browns were terrible. Everyone came for me. Okay, so I get it. We all have our moments. But he came in and he said, no, these are all the fruits and veggies I eat. I like them. I've just never tried these other things. And so I think just not exposed or just not had an interest, I guess. Yeah. Because he said that in my comments, he said he had asparagus. And I thought, well, that's kind of exotic. Asparagus, you know, an heirloom tomato. I can see why someone has maybe not had an heirloom tomato.
It makes sense. Bougie. It's bougie.
It's bougie. It's expensive.
It's a little expensive. It's a little bit weirdly shaped sometimes. You just don't know. Yeah. I can see an aversion.
See that. I think the watermelon was the strangest one, but judge. It's fine. There's things I don't eat, things I don't like. It's all good. It's bad. The bigger question for me is he's engaged, right? So I'm thinking, what is his girl? Like, I wonder if they're on the same, like, does she not like these things too?
Do they go out to dinner anywhere ever?
Yeah. But you know what? After this episode, he is exploring more. Survivor is giving him this new
lease on
taste. Literally. That.
I love it too.
The things you'll eat when you're starving is pineapple.
Crazy things.
So crazy. So crazy.
It's like, I'm going to eat all the cheeses. Like, and I would think someone who said, I've never had pineapple would look at those cheeses, like blue cheese and all the other cheeses, and be like, So it's so interesting. The tasting profile of Sam, I'm all in.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting palate. But as someone who's a picky eater, it's okay. I get it. But I think also Sam in this episode gave us another funny moment when he and Genevieve said, "Oh, what's that buoy out there? What's that going on there?" And Sam goes, those were all over our old camp. That's nothing. Now, Kellyn, when did you ever see a bright orange buoy in the ocean of Fiji? Because I can tell you how many times I saw it. Zero.
Yeah, zero buoys. Zero buoys, folks. Oh, it's nothing.
Sam. Oh, Sam, sweetie. And then eventually Genevieve, it's nagging at her. It's in the back of her head. And she's going, there's something, in my gut.
She has a bee in her bonnet, she says.
She has a bee in her bonnet. I didn't know people said that. Have you ever heard that phrase?
Oh, yes. But I live in northern Indiana where there are a lot of people who do wear bonnets. So maybe that's why the phrase "be in your bonnet" is still around where I grew up. But that, okay. I didn't know if it was from, because I saw it on Twitter, but if it was from the original thing where she's like mad at herself because she's getting ready to go out there. And she's like, I've got a bee in my bonnet and this is so stupid. And I'm going to go out into that water and nothing. And I'm going to get eaten by a shark for no reason.
Where does she go to the bathroom? Aren't you going in the water anyway? I have to tell you, that area where where that buoy was, that was actually our coconut grove on that beach. So listen, that has seen some things, but she went out there.
It's where I caught my first crab right out there.
The poor fish in that area. Oh, good Lord. Oof. It's fine. It's fine.
How do you feel about Genevieve? Are you buying stock in Genevieve?
Gosh, I've seen people compare her to Parv, and the voice, the way she plays, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I like Genevieve a lot. Very quiet first few episodes, same as Caroline, but she's had some big moments. I think she's a big threat. I really like her. Yeah, I think she's that player that's not so in your face like a Rome, but she's doing these things kind of behind the scenes. She's attacking when she needs to, holding back.
She's her pacing
very good.
So good. Of when
pacing
to
is very
step
good.
in, when to watch, when to do nothing, when even like in the the Survivor God's way of how she ended up being the one getting that advantage. So then she's sitting out that first part of the merge whatever challenge, and it's like that I feel like is a microcosm example of how she's playing her entire game. Like she's not getting in until she has to. Now maybe she didn't win either, so maybe it doesn't play out that way, I don't know, but it's like maybe she's just getting that perfect pacing right, and then in that case, if she strikes at the right time, I think she could win the whole thing, and I would love that. I'm loving rooting for her. I loved during the Rome, well, which I forget when it was going to be Rome, and she switches, and Keyshawn went home.
Keyshawn, yeah,
like that edit. I'm like, that is my dream of being a woman playing Survivor. Would be able to. I didn't ever play like that, but that would have been my dream.
It's hard when you're out there. Don't beat yourself up. It's really hard when you get out there.
Oh yeah, well you did. You have played like that. And
girl, I played from the bottom. Okay, that's not a good life. I can promise you that. And the third time I went out, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun this time. I don't even give a shit. And then I was on the worst losing tribes in history, and it was just, well, not in history, but pretty close. And it was like, I am not having fun. I do not like this game. I am not playing like Genevieve. I wish I could, so no.
We all wish we could maybe play like. And my husband does, this is a silly thing, he speaks French, so he keeps calling her Genevieve, and I was like, not. So now every time I've been trying to
Genevieve, that's really fancy.
That's how you say it in French, but that's how he says it.
Listen, he's more distinguished than we'll ever be. It's fine.
I mean,
Genevieve.
when she's sitting back and watching the whole thing, she's in her Genevieve era, and then when she's Genevieve, she's like, no, I'm in charge. I am the boss here, and I will not be told what to do, and yet I'm going to tell everyone what to do, including go get wet and risk getting eaten by a shark to go get that advantage. So.
But she got it, Kellyn. And now, I thought that advantage was very good. So we get to the challenge. All right. So we finally get to the challenge, and Jeff is standing there and basically gonna, he's gonna give us some sort of new thing we've never done before. Can we just call it a regular merge?
A new thing we've never done before, which, you know what, Kelly, it makes me feel like I am a crazy person losing my mind, because I'm pretty sure what we did when there were 13 of us on the old Ghost Island, Back
in the day. Yes.
I think we went to a challenge, and one of us was able to win an immunity necklace. Which that one of us happened to be me.
I mean, no big deal.
No big deal. One of us happened to win a necklace, and everyone could vote, and then one person went home, and I don't know. To me, that was just called the merge episode, but I'm confused about how this was brand new. What did I miss?
So when you won, you were only safe, right? Like everyone else could be voted out?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Okay.
A really crazy thing.
So weird. And you all competed in a challenge, right?
Yes, we all did.
Yeah, so strange. It's just very different now. But yeah, if they could just, it's like this is one situation where I guess kind of interesting that you did it 2 teams at first and only half of them get to eat, because you could say, okay, this is maybe interesting because is this group going to go together and then the group left at camp? Like, what's their strategy going to be like? But I think, again, let's not get too cutesy. At the end of the day, it was a merge episode. They are merged. One person isn't going to make the merge. Fine. Just let them all compete, I think.
Yeah, I guess the difference is that we had all made the merge because the person who went home that night was on the jury. So I guess that's different. But like, how does that change the game? And how does it even change the watching experience? It so much doesn't, so that I can't even tell the difference, and I played the fucking game. Like, that is how little this matters. It's so weird. And like, there are a lot of parallels again, not the first to come up with this. Rob Cesternino said it, but I was thinking it before I heard him say it. It's like, it was Chris Noble vote of my season was very much like this Rome vote, a consensus vote.
Yep.
There are 2 votes thrown off for a backup plan. And it's like, so if what they're trying to do, they say, is to not have that type of consensus vote, it's like, well, none of that stuff matters, because whether you do it the old way, or I guess, or the new way, or what the new old way, it's still potentially, we're going to have, when the group comes together, there is a bold sore thumb.
But that is the merge vote. That has always been the merge vote, because people don't want, like, at the merge, the best strategy is to just lay low. Let somebody else cause a problem. In this case, Rome. Let somebody else bury themselves. And everyone, because the merge, it's so different. You're with new people. You're building new relationships. Where do you stand in your old tribe? Where are you at with new people? It's not going to be a chaotic vote. I don't know the history of every merge vote, but I bet if we went and looked back, most of them probably were unanimous votes, because it's just, you're restarting the game, essentially. It's just like if we were on day 1.
Yes.
And that first vote is usually pretty unanimous. And it's the same thing. So I just think, just let the game be what it is. I will absolutely take this over what the new era has been. I have hated the fact that at the merge, they're like, okay, one tribe is safe, one tribe is not, but you all vote. So confusing, so ridiculous. I will absolutely take what we just saw over that. But I think, just give us it's fine.
It's so fine. And by the way, my number one issue with this, and a hill I will die on if I ever had the chance to look Matt and Jeff in the face again, do not take people's vote away from them.
I know.
Only these people are going to vote. Only these people are going to vote. What in the Sam Hill, my grandma would say. What?
Grandpa. Channeling you.
Is that? What is that? It is literally the premise of the game. Your power is your fire, which is your vote, And so that part is, we'll see how it's going to go. But I just hope, for God's sakes, let everyone, I get it, beware advantage. Although I would say don't do that either and take away people's vote. I hate it in every single shape and form. But when there's not even a choice, right? They had to go on the journey and they had to lose like when there's no choice, I'm like, come on, guys, you've got to leave that vote in everyone's hands, I think, to make it fair. And I don't like things that make Survivor seem not fair.
I also think it just isn't that interesting for the audience. Like, it's not that interesting for me for last week for Annika to not have a vote. It's not that interesting for me at the merge for Kyle to not have a vote. It's just, the steal a vote, I think, is a little more interesting because that happens at tribal council, and you're kind of seeing someone else doing this like strategy thing, and how is that? But just losing a vote because you go on a journey, I'm kind of over it. I feel like we've been there, done that. We've beat it to, like, it's just done.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I don't need that anymore.
I don't need that anymore either. I need the people who go put their life on hold for 7 weeks to go, and unless they choose to risk it, or, somebody steals it, but it's like, let them vote and decide. Plus, by the way, like, we're pretty intense fans. I have trouble keeping track of who still has a vote or who doesn't. The only reason I remember that Kyle doesn't have a vote is because they had to tell us 3 times Kyle doesn't have a vote, and it didn't fucking matter that Kyle didn't have a vote.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the exact same thing as you. Like, as a viewer watching, I don't need to be more confused. Especially at a merge where there are 13 people. Had it been a split type vote, I don't need to be kind of trying to figure, like, I'm just watching the show. Typically, I guess I do this podcast now, and I'm doing kind of funny little videos, but I watch the episode one time. One time, and then I don't watch it again, and then next Wednesday rolls around, and I'm like, sweet, a new episode. I am not remembering that Kyle lost a vote 4 fucking weeks ago. Okay, so just stop it. Stop it. I don't have, a whole wall dedicated to writing a recap for every episode. Like, just stop it.
Yeah.
Right now. We're begging you. Okay, and we'll stop with our rant there. So we get all the comments of people being like, I love when they take the votes away. Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
Listen.
Good.
We're just stating our opinion.
Stating our opinion. It's a scary prospect for us.
I know.
To be doing this.
I know. Be careful. Be careful out there. Everyone who's involved in this little world is very nice. Everyone's very cool. So I think we're all right. But there's always
one.
Gosh, it's tough in these streets. Oof. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at my notes, Kellyn, because I want to see. I feel like we've talked about almost everything, but I'm just trying to see if. Gosh, I have 3 pages here. So we talked about Stu. We talked about. We didn't really talk about the twist of when they actually merged and got to camp, and they said, "Oh, go look for the advantage." We talked about Genevieve finding it. I guess overall, did you kind of like that they added this in, or is it go back to the just let him do the merge and we don't need someone to get an advantage? Like it didn't. It brought some funny moments to the episode.
Yeah.
But I think we could do without it in the future.
And it seems Gordon Holmes said on the blank out moment. I was like,
girl, it's because we're on that coffee and no food diet. We got an issue right now. Okay, we're shorting out. It's all right. We're getting to the end. We've made it through. I think we've done okay. That coffee is hitting though. I've got not much left, and the thoughts are going all over the place. It's like a game of ping pong in my brain right now. So everyone, stick with us. It's all right.
Said it seemed unfair that for a group of people, the people are arriving, and 5 of the people know the beach. So
100%.
That this advantage is now here. First of all, when did they put the buoy there, and where were the 5 blue people there? I don't know. We digress. It doesn't really matter. But no, I did not love it. Except and it was part of the preview, and then I watched it again, and I did like that moment when Gabe is reading it, and then everyone and he stops, and then he goes, "Go." And then there's like this split second pause.
They all just look at each other.
Yes, it's like
so. Are we doing?
Just so fast, but the millisecond. Yes. So, are we gonna do it or not? I thought that was a cute moment, but overall,
I could have done without it. It was cool. It was fine, but I think. Again, let's just get that traditional merge. It's all good, and give them all the feast. Who cares? Let him eat. The feast is so funny. We had Teeny drunk and Sam eating a pineapple, and just let everyone eat.
Let them eat. My God, let them eat. Let them eat.
What's the obsession with starving the castaways these days? It's just it's a lot.
I don't know. And as a fan, I've always loved watching the merge feast. To be honest, it was one of the things that if I were going to make it when I was playing, it was like I had told myself I was not going to eat like a rabid dog, but of course I did. I was shoving all the things in my mouth. I noticed that they were eating a little bit more civilized, which I think is potentially because it's like no criticism, it's so hard and there's no rice, but like day 12 as opposed to like day 19 or 20, so
I know.
an extra week of not eating, so they did seem like they were a little bit more in control of their eating than some of the episodes before of merged people, where it's just my favorite part is when you see people shove the sweets, like the pineapple with the meat, with the cheese, with the bun, with the dip. It's like this insatiable desire to have all flavors at once in your mouth. So everyone deserves to have that moment. Come on, Survivor gods.
Let them have the moment. It's also a great time. There's nothing better than people eating and finally feeling full and happy, and then people start talking, and you want to see everybody get together. I love that part of it. The merge feast is so great. I have to tell one funny thing. I don't know how your merge was in Ghost Island, but in season 31 we had one tribe come to the other, and they were actually carrying the merge feast in this big box, I guess, where they have to hold I don't know what that's called, where they like a cot almost, you hold it and it's got the box.
Yeah.
And we came in, and there's nothing you want more at the merge. It's like you just want to dive in and eat it. Like I need it now. But it was like we had to set out the blankets, and we had to get the picnic stuff, and production's like, okay, we need it. And we're all just like, just fucking let us have the food. That's one piece that I think is so difficult, because it's like production wants the shot and they want everyone to be in. I'm like, oh my God, just let us eat the damn food. So it's just
oh my God, I cannot imagine that. We were able to literally
yours.
By the time they we had to do a bit of a hike to get to where we ate, which was pretty far. Actually, we had to like hike up and down to a different part of the beach. And then, but by the time we were sort of like behind the line, behind the cameras where they had the cameras set up, and they had the table already set really beautifully with the scene behind us was so pretty. And so it was like ready, set, go. You could go in and sit down and start eating immediately. So I didn't I cannot imagine having to wait to set that up where they're like, go get in line, set it up so we can see every single bite. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like get in a circle, put the blanket out for the picnic. Oh my Lord. It was not like that in 38. 38 was similar to what you're saying. It was just a table set up and we just all walked in and was just basically like wild animals feasting for the first time. That's really what we were. But yeah the merch
that's really what we are. Little animals.
So we are. That's what we are. I was laughing though when they read the note and it said day 12 merge. And I thought, in my first season, I wasn't even voted out before day 12. And I'm not trying to talk shit on the 26 to 39 days.
No, they have a different challenge. Yeah.
Talked about it. It's just funny because I'm like, day 12? The merge? It's just wild.
You know.
It's wild.
I can't help myself. I went to my husband and he doesn't give a shit. I'm like day 12.
You're still nice about it. It would have been nice. And maybe that's what it is. There's a little bit of jealousy in my heart. Oh, because I'm like, damn.
That's
day 12?
Mine is for sure jealousy. And then also the flip side of it is so much gratitude because I got to sit and know people and spend more time out there and hang out. And the pacing in which they are having to play, I do not wish that on anyone. And I would prefer my timing and pacing than theirs as far as like being able to play the game of Survivor that I would want to play. So look, it is in many ways harder for them because it's shorter. So it's not that, but it's so funny. I like cannot help being like, we went out to school, walk to school, uphill, both ways. Like that voice comes out when it said that 12. I said over to Adrian, oh, day 12 must have been nice. And I'm like grumbling. What is my problem? These poor people, they're hungry.
These kids don't know what it was like back in my day. They're so secretly salty, aren't we? It's fine. I had to climb up that hill in the snow with tennis shoes on. They have no clue what it's like now. These people don't even know what it was like before cell phones. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Oh, we're too much. I
turned into like the crotchety old lady, but I admire them all so much. I look at this, I keep looking at my list of all the people. There's just, is there anyone we haven't talked about that you feel you have feelings on?
I think we've talked about most people. Is there anyone that we've missed that's on your list? Because I think we've kind of touched on everyone that had important parts in this episode, at least.
Talk as much about Gada, the Sierra, Andy, Rachel of it all, and that's very actually to go completely out of order.
Yes.
How did you feel like Rachel did coming back to camp? Oh God, does that suck when you come back to camp after you're the one left out of the vote? How did you feel about how she handled that?
I'm glad you brought this up because I have all my notes and it's right at the top here on this one, obviously, because top of the episode. And there is no worse feeling, besides being voted out, there's no worse feeling coming back to camp, being blindsided yourself, not knowing where you stand in a tribe, and all you want to do is freak the fuck out. Okay?
Yeah.
Truly inside, all you want to do is like, you're so mad, you're just like, frustrated.
All I want to do is cry.
Whatever. You might be angry, you might be sad, you just, this whole thing of emotions. And you can't do that. Can't do that in Survivor. You have to come back and just, wow, you got me. Where do we go from here? That's what a good player does. And I think that's exactly what Rachel did. She even apologized to Andy, kind of trying to repair that of like, listen, I thought that was the plan, but no bad blood here. Mm-hmm. I think she did a really great job. I absolutely love Rachel. I think she has just been so fun. And again, like I feel like I say this about a lot of people this season, but just these are just really good players. Mm-hmm. They really I feel like I'm saying like, oh, she's so composed. But I said that about Genevieve. I said that about Saul. I'm like, oh my God, I sound like a broken record. But truly, when you start to talk about people, she's incredible too. I mean, this is a really great cast overall. So what did you think about how she did?
I thought she did an amazing job. I felt like I could really see the hurt in her eyes, and then how she did manage to say all the right things. I thought maybe Sam and Sierra did not do a great job of bringing her back into the fold, to be honest.
Yeah.
I felt like as shocked as she seemed at the tribal, I thought maybe they could have done, if they want her vote moving forward, they maybe could have done a little bit of a better job of softening the blow. And so especially, it was just in Sam's tone, like, I'm sorry, this is how it was. And I wondered how Sierra, and we didn't really see that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't see a conversation between just Sarah and Rachel. I'm really curious how that actually went and how that might come to play in the future, because they did spend a few full minutes at the top of the hour showing that. So I'll be interested to see how this Gada tribe either scramble and disperses, or are they just too far broken and that was the end of it, really leaving Rachel out of that original Gada crew. So she is she's a live person right now that people could really pull in, I think. And so it'll be interesting to see where she lands and whether or not Sam and Sierra did enough to keep her comfortable after that huge blindside blow the episode before. So that'll be interesting. And I love Andy. Oh my god, I love watching Andy. But did you love when Andy was at tribal council saying, "Oh, I loved blindsiding Annika"? I was like, "Oh, babe, let's just sometimes just take that little zipper just right across your mouth, just pump the brakes." I thought, "Oh god, no." He's very chaotic. Maybe don't say that right now. And then we see, I don't know if you watched the preview for next week. I did.
It looks like our sweet baby Andy is going a little rogue.
Oh.
So
okay.
This could be fun.
Yeah, it's an interesting that the yellow dye in the water is going to be really interesting and how it all mixed together. So I don't think I'm biased, but I could not think of a season in the new era that I like as much as this one. So I'm pretty sure that this is my favorite of the new. I can do that. I really get in every time, but I feel like they've done an amazing job of the entire cast and have done a great job of bringing us along for a really fun ride. So props to them.
This is the one for sure. And it gets me thinking a little bit about 50, because I know that's on a lot of people's minds. Everyone is thinking about 50.
Oh my god, let's blow, put some fireworks in the water. Who do you think from this season is going to make it on 50?
This is so hard because this cast is so good. I mean, I think you look at someone like Rome and you're going, well, so last season Q was kind of that chaotic player, but I think in Rome you have someone that was very intentional with his chaos, whereas I think Q was just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants type player. And so I would say, like, casting, you cannot not want Rome back on a season. I don't know if it's 50. You can't, like, there's no way. Even though he went out pre-merge, he's such a big character. He is a player we don't see very often. I think he would be in the running. Who else? I mean, it's so hard so far. Right now, I think female-wise, I think Genevieve is a very strong contender. Yeah, potentially. We still have a lot to see.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is about, but I think Sam has gotten a lot of airtime and like kind of historically, he's the kind of guy who Jeff would want back. So I feel like I would give him that, like, kind of oddly enough, like a thing of tale as old as time, but like the Michael Yerger, Joey Amazing, sort of like that. I just see Jeff probably Ozzy, ish, right?
Ish, not quite like the same, but that character,
character, like
Jeff does love his
American boy sort of thing. I feel like, so I would say that, and then I would love to see Sue play again.
Oh, girl,
I would
love that.
Tsunami Sue play in every. I don't think she gets the slot. I think Carolyn gets the slot. But I would love to see Sue in every form of from this season so far. So that's where I stirring that pot.
Stirring the pot, yes. But if we didn't say your name, if you're on this season, you're listening, and we didn't say your name, it doesn't mean we don't think you're amazing. It's just there are so few spots on a returnee season, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
I'm so excited to see because there's so many different things. I would love to see 2 returnee seasons, like all post 40 or something like that, because there's just so many people, and the only returnees who've been back since I played all those years ago was you guys, right?
And winners.
And winners. But I mean, of the non-winners since Second Chance,
I think Game Changers 34.
Oh, and since Game Changers, yeah. So
that's I mean, that's a lot of seasons.
So starting with 35 heroes, healers, and hustlers, we're talking Chrissy Hoffbeck and Forward. Other than Winners at War and the 4 of you that got a slot on whichever one that was.
I'm sorry, Edge of Extinction. You can erase it from your memory.
Extinction and Island of the Idols, those 2. And I was thinking you're an idol, Kelley Wentworth.
Don't say my name and Island of the Idols, okay? Because we're gonna fight now.
Okay, fair enough.
We're gonna fight.
I just mean you are my idol, is what I mean.
You stop it.
You climb my mountain.
Stop it. Quit it. I can't with you.
You creep.
You stop it, you. There have been so many. And you know what season I think they could bring back nearly the entire cast of, and I would watch again? David versus Goliath.
Oh, yes.
Like, I can name 6 people right now from that season. So when you start looking, you're like, gosh, there were so many good people, even pre 41, I guess. And so what will the season be? I mean, do they kind of just go like, we're just going to do a second chance season again?
Yeah.
Because I do think like there are so many people that have played 2, 3, 4 times where it's like, I don't really need to see them back.
Oh,
Legends for sure. But it's like, I kind of want it to be more of maybe a second chance style where it's people that have only played 1 time or maybe twice, but I played 3 times. So I'm putting myself in the same category. I just don't think I really need to see people that have played that many times. Like I want to see new blood. So
I would love Second Chance too. I mean, Second Chance is my favorite Survivor season of all time.
I mean,
for sure.
I love it.
I love it. We love it. We love it here. So I would love a second chance too with my boy Dom Abate getting his shot to go back, break the tie, the closest second place there ever has been. So that is really what I'm rooting for, is a second chance too, and to root Dom on to his getting the victory. If I may for a second, actually, people have listened to us this far, and maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know that I have a podcast called Road to Reality.
Plug yourself. Yes, we're going to wrap up here, so plug yourself, please, whatever you want.
Because of all these David and Goliath people, quite a few of them in the 30s, and including you, a guest on my podcast, Road to Reality. So if you've enjoyed hanging out with the Kelley Kellyn dynamic, there's 2 more hours of it out there on Road to Reality on RHAP, where I interview players about being a person who was on Survivor, not about being the show, your time on Survivor. So check that out if you're interested in hearing from some former players. I think people have really enjoyed it, and it was such a fun thing to do. So
you do a great job with that, because I think, there's so many Survivor podcasts. This is a Survivor podcast, but you really talk about the personal lives of people, and that's just not something we always get. We get what we get on Survivor, but not the bigger picture. And talking to someone for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours is so fun. And you're able to connect. I know when you and I chatted, like we talked about, like not having kids and what's that like? And what's it like being a pet parent or adopting a new dog, and just these fun things that I think people can relate to that are not Survivor related. And you do a really good job. You're an amazing host. So yes, go listen to that, everybody, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Road to Reality. Find me there.
What else, Kellyn? You've got some other...
I do.
What's going on?
So you can follow me at the Kellyn B on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and also launched a new business this fall called the Career Coven.
Yay!
Which is wearing my Coven sweatshirt, which is a coaching. I'm a holistic career coach in my professional life, but I partnered up with Alex Rizzi. Her last name is Rizzi. She's got so much Riz. She is a hypnotherapist and also a holistic career coach. And we've combined our practices into a place where what we call, if your career does not align with your essential self, it aligns with your social self. Like, I should be a lawyer. I should be a teacher. I should, if you're saying the words I should and your job, we might be for you, because we help people find the whisper within themselves that says, this is what I actually want to do to make a living. So you can follow us on the Career Coven on Instagram. We have a super cool quiz you can take at liberatedcareerquiz.com, where you can get your liberated career archetype. Super fun, cool thing where you can learn a little bit more about yourself. And last thing, we are doing a giveaway for a $1,500 package right now for Soul Sync and Energetic Career Reset, which is so cool.
That's
check
awesome.
that all out at the Career Coven on Instagram. I would love to see all of the Survivor people there who hear the word Career Coven and want to be a part of a Survivor Coven. Come on by, come see us.
Come on by. And Kellyn, you are so brave, amazing. You are an entrepreneur. I'm so proud of you. This is, I know, something that you're very passionate about. And you're not just someone that's out there. We've talked about this, like just trying to like sell courses or get, like you are a legit person that wants to help people, that has a business, that wants people to find what truly makes them happy. And what, because career is such a massive part of your life. And I think, I don't know, I'm not trying to be like a coach here myself, but just from my own personal experiences, I've tried so many things throughout my life. I've landed where I've landed now, which I like, but I think there's this idea when you're young that you have to have it all figured out. You have to know what you want to do. And it's not really realistic, and I think we go in different directions because we feel that's the right thing to do, but maybe that's not our true calling. And once we're in something, we don't know how to get out of it. So obviously you're not coaching me, and I don't know if this is even aligning with what you do, but I just think it's good that you are offering coaching and a resource for people that maybe feel stuck or, just don't know how to find that like truth within them when it comes to career. So
yes, you are describing it exactly right. That feeling of feeling stuck and not knowing what to do next. And I just so lucky to go see Elizabeth Gilbert and Martha Beck this weekend in Toronto. And Liz says, purpose is just fear dressed up in fancy clothes.
Oh, wow.
And like, so the idea of like how I've said for a long time, like self-care has been hijacked by capitalism. Like you used to would think self-care would be like drinking enough water and getting enough sleep, but now they're like, get a $700 hair treatment and get your nails done which I love to get my nails done. Don't get no shade on that, but it's really not like maybe what deep self-care really is. And this idea of finding your passion and your purpose on this planet has been hijacked kind of by capitalism as well. And I get that, like the Career Coven and Soul Sync and these things that I say sound a bit like that, but what we really, really do is help people find a little bit more freedom in when their job, like we just don't want the world to be stuck waking up miserable. And that's really, really, really what we want to do, is help people wake up and feel really good about using their skills to make a living. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to try as we go out. We're going to have a podcast. We're trying to get as much free stuff out as possible as we get built here. So thank you for seeing me and always being so supportive of me, Kelley. It's meant so much. I really, really appreciate it, and it means a lot.
Of course. I think you're amazing. I know we've actually never really we've kind of just become friends, through this little Survivor world, but I am very proud of you. You're a wonderful person. I'm so glad to connect with you anytime. I'm very proud of you. And I just think you're just amazing. So thank you so much, Kellyn, for everything.
Thanks for having me today. There's nothing I would love more than to talk Survivor, where we get to talk about the characters, the people, the fun parts, the dynamics, and just not have to really remember exactly who's voting with who and the exact strategy and all that. So this was the ideal place. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll talk to you later, babe. Bye.